Hi, everybody. Mr. Chris here. So I've been getting the question a lot recently. When is the school going to open back up again? And so there are a couple of things that are keeping the school closed right now. And those things are, number one, there's a ban on public gatherings of 25 or more people. And number two, any businesses that are open need to be able to maintain a 6-foot distance between and among all the people that are in the building. So those two restrictions are what are keeping us closed right now. And that is to clarify, that is different from the closure of the public schools, because that doesn't necessarily apply to the private schools. But like I mentioned before, there are some restrictions that are keeping us from being able to open our doors again. So the big question then is, when are those restrictions going to be eased up? And of course, that's the million-dollar question that everybody is asking. So there is some movement in that direction, at least. There's at least plans being made to determine when some of these restrictions might be eased. So as I'm speaking, Donald Trump is holding a press conference in Washington, D.C., and he is releasing a set of guidelines that are being sent to all the governors in all the states. Now, there's a couple different levels of power that are working toward the same question, which is, when are we, or how are we going to open things back up again? And so while the president can give guidelines, the Constitution actually prevents the president from being able to reach too deeply inside each of the states. At least to some degree. So it will ultimately be up here in Oregon to Kate Brown, the governor, to decide how exactly things are going to be opened back up again. So besides Donald Trump releasing some guidelines about how he'd like to see things open back up again, Governor Kate Brown also announced that Oregon will be partnering with both Washington and California to open up the West Coast kind of on a sort of a uniform track of some kind. So they held a press conference on Tuesday to announce that, or to talk about how they're going to be opening things back up again. But unfortunately, Governor Kate Brown really didn't say much. There's nothing really to go on there to make any hard and fast decisions about whether or not school can reopen again before the end of the school calendar. So basically, now the way things sit at the moment is this. With the current restrictions, we won't be able to have school. And if I would have to take a guess, or using the information and my intuition, my guess is going to be that school is not going to be able to open its doors back up again before the end of the school calendar. And that is because while the economy is probably going to start reopening, and in some way, shape, or form, there probably won't be an easing of the restrictions that need to be lifted in order for the school to be able to open back up again. Now, if the school can legally open back up again, then we certainly will, because that would be fantastic. But my best guess with how things have gone is that probably simply will not happen. So that also brings us to graduation. So I've been getting that question a bit. What are we going to do with graduation? Are we going to have a graduation? What's going to happen with that? So I'll just give you my best information at the moment, and that is this: that yes, we certainly will have a graduation, and no, it probably will not be on the date that's on the school calendar. So it would be very fantastic, I think, to give the seniors, after all of their hard work, to give them a good celebration in which they can invite their friends and family and have a large group. And so we need to see that restriction on 25 or more people in public lifted before we can have the graduation. So I would like to see the graduation just moved further back into the summer until some point when this 25-person ban is lifted. And if it does become apparent at some point in time in the summer that this ban is not going to be lifted, then we will need to come up with a more creative way to have the graduation, such as having it online or somehow being able to have a graduation legally. But I think after all this work, it would be fantastic to give the graduates a good graduation, and so we will do that if we at all can. So I know that a video like this, like these announcements that I'm making, can be kind of frustrating because I really said a lot of nothing. But that's simply where things are right now, and I'm just giving you the best information that I have. So in summary, we will open the school if we can, but as of right now, we can't do that legally. And we are ultimately looking to the governor's office here in Oregon to see when these restrictions are lifted, so that we can have school again legally. All right, I hope that brings some clarification, at least to what's going on. I hope to see everyone again sometime soon. Very much miss all of you students. Mr. Chris out.